Governor Mills made a special appearance at Bangor Public Library's Storytime today in celebration of a program that was newly expanded into Maine thanks to an American icon. Grace Bradley takes us there.
Hey there, it's Dolly, and I am so happy to announce that Maine will soon offer my Imagination Library to every child in the state from birth to age 5.
Plot twist at Bangor Public Library's Wednesday Storytime. Governor Janet Mills was there as libraries across the state found out that the one and only Dolly Parton is expanding her book program for even more of Maine's youngest readers.
Dolly Parton has been an inspiration to so many people on so many levels. I mean, she was inspired to start this in 1995. We are now the 20th state because we've drummed up enough affiliates across the state and drumming up more today. Get a book in every child's hands every month, every child under the age of 5. Sent to their home.
With a $200,000 investment, Dolly Parton's Imagination Library will expand access to free books for children across the state.
Early literacy is a foundation for the rest of their lives, and studies have shown that children who have books in the home do better in school and throughout their lives. It is such an important head start for all families, and it equalizes the playing field because everybody can be a part of that.
And even more Maine kids will take part as the program hopes to expand eligibility from its current 8% to 65%.
We need every child to learn to read at the earliest age, learn to enjoy books for a variety of reasons. I think what I learned was more than just words and vocabulary. I learned to put thoughts together, hopefully. I learned to put ideas together. I learned about adventures.
So happy reading, Maine, and remember that I will always love you.
Grace Bradley, WABI TV5 News, Bangor.
And for more information on Imagination Library and to find a partner near you, you can visit our website. I think everybody can agree Dolly Parton is a national treasure.
She is. That's certainly the case. And she needs no introduction.
No, just, hi, it's Dolly.
Yeah, it's better than that.
What a great program. Yeah, just amazing.